To Be Hero X is anime of the year. And listen to me, I know that's crazy, a opening statement to a video, especially in a year where we got Apothecary Diaries season 2, we got the epic fights of solo leveling, we have anime that have been consistent with something like a Dr. Stone, Science Futures, and we're currently in the midst of My Hero Vigilantes, Fire Force new season, as well as Windbreaker, and we're only halfway through the year, so there's 6 months left for something to come out. Wow, Shaka, still the damn show. But to me, I don't think anything will surpass To Be Hero X, and this anime is a master class in superhero media. It showcases perfectly how to make a superhero property. Every single character is engaging with their backstory, their motivation, their goals, the moves they make. You understand it all, and that's a pretty difficult thing to do with an ensemble cast, something to the level that we haven't seen since the early seasons of Game of Thrones, in my opinion. And we're only 12 episodes into the entire season. This is going to be a 24 episode season of anime, which a lot of shows aren't doing anymore. So what I wanted to do was make an entire video on To Be Hero X, all the heroes, the bits of foreshadowing, how they meticulously set up the story and details within this show so masterfully. But once again, it's not finished until September, but the series is airing in a way of an anthology where each character is given their own set number of episodes in different timelines and orders that all leads to the inevitable hero tournament. So what I'm gonna do instead is make videos on each of these individual characters, how they're built up and so carefully thought out and written, and explain this world that they're in, the bits and pieces of scenes we see of how it's gonna play a part in other characters' storylines and episodes, all once again, like I said, leading up to the inevitable tournament. And with that, we're gonna maybe drop 2 videos a week breaking down their backstories, the goals, motivations, and everything within the story, hopefully leading up to the final series finales. Then I'm gonna put all the videos together in one gigantic To Be Hero X video, because if by September I still believe it's anime of the year, it's probably gonna be one of the best possible videos I can make. So I might as well start now while breaking down each of these individual characters. So let's go ahead and get into doing that. And in this one, we're starting with Ling Ling the Commoner, his zero to hero story, and how he became Nice, the top 10 hero.
Always knew where I stood. I try to be so good.
Now, I think the first thing we got to break down and dissect is the creation of how this world is built around superheroes instead of the superheroes being involved in a regular world, and why that's important. So the superhero medium has always been something that's been popular since like the DC comics in the 1900s, and it's not even new in the field of anime, obviously, with things like My Hero and the countless other shows where people have superpowers. It's kind of hard within the superhero medium to separate yourself, but somehow To Be Hero X found the perfect way to do so. Separates itself from the likes of the MCU, Invincible, The Boys, things of that nature, in crafting a world revolving around superpowers, because this world is set based off how people believe and trust and their confidence in these heroes' ability to keep them safe. Your power at your core comes from the reliability, strength, and the protection that these people in this world actually believe that you can provide them. And if that goes up or down, it has a huge impact on the world as a whole, these superhero rankings, the goals, desires of these characters. I think kind of hard for me to get into the MCU or continue to follow it when the scale of all these superheroes and what's going on in the world feel loosely connected, and not really even at that until there's one big event. It doesn't feel like these characters are intertwined with the world, or the world has faced the brunt of impact of these superheroes being there. Even when these catastrophic events and things go on, they get swept under the rug or they get brushed over because regardless, obviously we got to go to bigger and better movies, plots, etc., where they get so crazy that the scale of the world of a town or city or state getting blown to smithereens becomes less important over time. Whereas with To Be Hero X, they found the perfect way to revolve the world around superheroes, because your power comes from the belief these people have in you to protect them, to be a stand-up person, trust they have in you to get the job done. And that's worked so well within To Be Hero X because of how good each of these characters' story, all of their hopes, desires, recontextualizing the point of society and the impact it has on these superheroes and their purpose in this world. So now that you guys who haven't watched it have some context of how this world is set up or built around superheroes in a general sense, like I said, let's get into the character for this video, Ling Ling the Commenter, and talk about his Zero to Hero story. The Zero to Hero story we all know and love, where this character Ling Ling steps into the role as an already established superhero who has committed suicide, and he has to fill this role for society and basically become a whole entirely new person and take on the brunt of responsibility that this once great top 10 hero held. He's quickly thrust into this lifestyle of fame, fortune, hardship, love, but also the responsibility, as I mentioned, of being this top 10 superhero. And it comes at a cost that now he's shackled to the perception that fans have of him, the choices that they make for him. He officially makes no decisions of his own. And we see that countless times when he's forced into this love relationship with the already established girlfriend of the former superhero Knights, where he eventually falls in love with her and they have a conversation about what he wants in life, and he isn't quite sure, but he knows he wants her to be a part of it. It's also where we received the first hint of foreshadowing when he first arrived in the Hero Tower and saw his girlfriend Moon asleep, attempted to put a blanket over her, and then saw her dead. Now this didn't really take place. This was a cliffhanger left at the end of episode 1, and going into episode 2 it was more focused and emphasis on Moon herself and her not really having an identity of her own either, being forced into this lifestyle of being the girlfriend. That is what the fans want so bad that even her own power of her gun that gives her the power to go to the locations, the only location it allows her to go is next to Nice's side, which in itself is tragic. Now of course they want to fix this, or Ling Ling wants to fix this for her because he does like her so much. And they fix this in the first foreshadowing by, of course, faking her death to set her free. They have her funeral. Ling Ling specifically says to the crowd to wish for her peace and her choices to get everything she's ever wanted, basically setting her free from the life fans had her shackled to, being the girlfriend of the superhero Nice. Of course, they end up faking her death and he gets exposed that he isn't the real Nice. They fake Moon's death and he has an hour to come save the day and prove that he is the hero everyone thinks he is. Now, of course, this tanks his public perception or the possibility that he could be lying. So his power and trust is already dwindling within society. But it gets even worse when his fans who believe he is Nice doesn't want him to go out and save Moon and save the day. Once again, he's stuck in a position where he has no control over the movements he make because of the way this world is built up on the civilians' control over these superheroes' powers. But he eventually snaps and breaks free from this to go and save Moon, to get her back. And he struggles through this fight because once again his trust is plummeting within society and he's reverting back to his former self, but he's doing whatever it takes to get the job done. And this being broadcasted all over the world to the point where the fans who are watching in astonishment start to believe in him and trust him, the real Ling Ling, the real version of himself, not this Nice persona that he was forced to play a part into. And he eventually gets his power back to win this fight, learning to be his true self at all times, not having to be another person and no longer being controlled by the perception of others. Ling Ling, of course, winning this fight at the very end, beating all the odds, becoming himself the commoner. He then goes back to try to get Moon, using her superpower, her gun, the gun that always brought her to Nice's side, was the only place she could be until he told the speech at her fake funeral to set her free, that the gun can send her wherever she wants. He uses that to go and find and rescue her for real, bring back the real Moon. And when he arrives there, she is officially killed, shot in the head by what looks like another superhero in the background we will soon meet within the story. And this is where Ling Ling the commoner's story ends, as he becomes zero to hero, finally figures out what he wants, but then it's all immediately taken away from him. Now, of course, the zero to hero story is common. It's nothing new or fresh at all, but within the context of the story, the way it's written and told, and the breadcrumbs they leave us to look forward to these other superheroes and characters that I'm gonna make videos on and break down, it's one of the most well told ones we've seen in a minute, especially given the fact that once again this is an anthology and he was only given what, 4 episodes, pull off his entire character arc before moving on, and then we're left on this huge cliffhanger waiting to see the cause or reasoning for any of this. This was a masterclass in showcasing how the first few episodes of an anime should be set up and done, where all the information is laid out and given to you and it's executed within a character so perfectly that everything's explained. But especially with To Be Hero X being another superhero show, anime, IP, whatever, you have to do it in a unique way, and I think the way they set up their power system helps out so much with this world building and the overall growth of these characters, in helping us truly believe in their motivations, dissatisfactions, goals, abilities, everything that they have to do with this world, the powers they're given, and what they're ultimately trying to obtain. And I think starting off with a character like Ling Ling and his zero to hero story, I think To Be Hero X executed this perfectly. So if you guys enjoyed this, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. The next video is possibly gonna be Lucky Cyan. I know Yang Chen's story comes after Ling Ling's, but I think the foreshadowing, breadcrumbs, and pieces they leave throughout all these episodes, it'll be better if I put out Lucky Cyan's first and then go into Yang Chen's. And for you guys who watch the show, you obviously know why. But feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.